Hello everybody, good evening to you all. Welcome back to the channel for another live show this evening. And of course, as you can see from the title, we are going to be delving in a bit more in detail about what has actually gone wrong at the football club, and yeah, we're going to go through different kind of parts of everything that's gone wrong. And well, everything's gone wrong, but we're going to look deeper into it. I've got loads of different little areas that I want to kind of go into. I'm sure you guys have opinions on that as well. So yes, but I hope you're all doing well this evening. Big up to you all that's tuning in already. Make sure you do drop a like, subscribe, and share the channel around. Get your comments in throughout the show as well. What I'm going to do, guys, each kind of topic area, I'm going to just complete that topic, and then we'll keep rolling with the comments like that. After each kind of topic, each topic that I'm going to cover. But yes, that's how we're going to work it this evening. Before we do start, though, obviously our youngsters are in a final this evening, of course. So good luck to them. I know it's kicked off already. So yeah, hopefully, yes, they win the trophy, of course, at the Central Cup final. So yes, good luck to the young lads in that game this evening. But yes, let's go to the comments first before we get going with the show. But hope you are all okay, by the way. But Aiden's in, he says, hello, mate, hope you're okay. Big up. Hello, Aiden. Good to see you, mate. How are you doing? And he also says, yeah, make sure you do drop a like, guys. It is free. And subscribe if you haven't already. And also, more importantly as well, crucial, if you can share the channel around on your social media pages and everything, and just get my channel out there a little bit more, that'd be much appreciated as well. Like I say, we're trying to get to 900 subscribers. And the big dream is 1K. 1K would literally make me the happiest person ever if I could get to 1K. But obviously the next stage is 900. But yeah, we're gaining quite nicely again. We kind of got stuck a little bit, didn't we, with the subscribers lately, but kind of moved up a few lately. So yeah, doing all right. But big up to you, Ian. Thank you for that. He also says, loving the content on the channel recently, mate. You're doing a brilliant job. Keep doing what you're doing, mate. Big up to you. Thank you very much, Ian. Yeah, look, I'm just having a really good time on the channel at the moment, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, okay, the football's been shocking, and there's been no joy whatsoever with that. But I just mean like the positivity and the support that you guys show me. I love coming on here and engaging with you guys in the chat and everything. And yeah, that's been the most enjoyable thing about this, because the football has been, it's been a terrible season. Let's be honest. So yeah. You guys have certainly kept me going, and yes, really appreciate them kind words, though, Aiden. Appreciate that. But we are going to try and keep consistent on the channel, Monday to Friday, trying to do daily uploads. You know what I mean? Whether it be a video, I'm going to do like I have been doing a bit of a mix, videos, live shows. You know what I mean? So it kind of mixed up a little bit. There'll be a video out tomorrow, which I'll announce at the end of the show as well. But yes. I'm just going to keep rolling with the content. Can't wait to see the new rebrand. Yes, I did announce the date for the rebrand. Thank you, Aiden, for reminding me. The rebrand, new logo, new backgrounds, new everything, guys. I can't wait to show you guys what we've come up with. Big up to Flair, who has helped me out with the logos and the backgrounds and everything. But yes, guys, you will love the logo. Trust me. I think you will like this logo. It just looks so much better. So yeah, a big upgrade on the channel coming on Monday the 12th of May. Indeed, not long now for that one. But yeah, big up. Glad you can't wait. And hello to you, Jack. How are we doing, mate? Good to see you. Good to see you, mate. And James, then he says hello, mate. Hello to you, James, as well. Good evening to you. How are you doing? And Aiden also says, at least the B team can get to a final. Isn't it the final tonight yet? It's the final tonight, Aiden. It is a final, yeah. So yes, it's that's why I said about the potential trophy that we're going to get. But yeah, anybody that can keep me updated with the score, if you want to, you can. Obviously, there's no time. I'll be tweeting out the academy page. That is, will be tweeting out, won't they? Good evening to you, George. Hello. Good to see you. And I'm going to put my referral link. If you do sign up, you do get a discount, and also it does give me credit to get. It does also give me credit if you sign up to StreamYard. I will be moving over to Restream in the summer. We're going to get all that sorted out, guys. When I get the new rebrand, the backgrounds will be back. You know what I mean? I can start doing my shows properly. You know, I'm waffling on now. But big up to everyone that's tuning in. 13 of you in here right now. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe, share the channel. But yes, as I was saying, it's going to be so much better in the summer. Like I said, everything's going to be back. You know what I mean? The backgrounds and stuff like that. So, really excited for that. Luke saying he says hello. Good to see you, Luke. How are you doing, mate? Good to see you. And good evening, sir. Dan says good evening to you, sir. Thank you very much for calling me sir. Blimey. Bloody heck, I don't know what's happening here, guys. Right, anyway, we're back. Over the summer, we definitely need a new striker and actually a good new manager, maybe like Steven Gerrard. Don't know if that's... Well, I hope this is a joke because, look, I certainly don't want Steven Gerrard. He's not a good manager at all, so no, thank you. And I think we need more than a striker. We need a new good core group of this squad. We need some midfielders that can dictate the game. I mean, we need defenders that can actually throw the body in the way. You know, get tackles in. You know what I mean? And we need some strike. Well, mind you, to be fair, we have got we have already got a couple of strikers in, but are they any good? Obviously, Callum Marshall's gone back now, so we are short on one striker. So yeah, I mean, potentially another striker, yeah. But not sure about the Steven Gerrard comment. He says, sorry, what I meant by that is that the B team can get to a final, but not like the first team who don't know how to make it to a final. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, at least they can actually get, yeah. So yes, Monday the 12th of May, the rebrand coming to the channel. So do make sure you tune in for that. And as I said, things like I know I've been saying it for a while, guys, but like, and we're going to get going on the show as well in a minute, by the way. The background, you know what I mean? I'm going to really, get the lighting better as well. I need some kind of light that I can kind of, like a ring light that'll obviously help the stream, it's with the you know what I mean. But anyways, we're going to get into the show now. So you guys, like I said, make sure you put your comments in throughout. So yes, everything has gone wrong at Huddersfield Town over the past, well, you could say up to 2 years. We're just focus on this season, of course. Now, as I said, I did have a few topics that I do want to kind of go into. So yeah, but yeah, first we have to start with the players. Now, time and time again, we've been fed so many excuses about the players. Phrases like they play really well in training and they're an honest bunch of lads, and they get nervous in front of the home crowd. They're damaged from previous season failures. The running stats are good. They've, you know what I mean? They've not trained enough or have trained too much. All these excuses, none of it actually rings true, does it really, if we're being honest? Because it's all just pure waffle that managers say just to protect their players, to defend their players, in the hope that loyalty will be repaid on the pitch. But rarely with us it is. Michael Duff also repeatedly said when he was with us that he thought we had a decent squad. On paper, we do. Our wage bill suggests they should be. But on the pitch, it just hasn't come together at all, has it? Now, for me, I don't want to single any individual players out for criticism right now. Not because I don't want to throw one or two under the bus, but instead because they all deserve to be thrown in the bus. That's the reality of it. Maybe Callum Marshall, who obviously a loanee from West Ham, deserves credit because he has been a bright spark of this season. And if only we had 11 Callum Marshalls on the pitch, we might have actually gone somewhere. But yes, I can't think. But other than that, I can't think of a single player that has lived up to expectations this season. I really can't. Never mind exceeding expectations. You know what I mean? So Miller would be another one that's been good, but sadly, again, he's missed too much of the season for me to judge him. You know what I mean? He has looked good when he's come back in, but he's been missing. So I'm not going to say he's been a good signing because we've barely seen him. I go back to it. You can be as good a player as you want. You can be as good a player as you are, but if you're not a reliable player that can keep fit, then you're hopeless to everybody. Now, there are other factors that have led to so many players, failing to produce. But ultimately, the players do need to look at themselves here before pointing fingers elsewhere. And that's my opinion. The number of managers that have failed to get a tune out of these players means it's impossible to not blame them, first and foremost. And I'm sure you'll all agree with that. But look, I had to start with the players this evening, guys, because the players have let this club down for so long now, and it's just an absolute joke. We have no connection with this bunch. And like I said to you, for me, this is the worst squad we've ever had, that I've ever known. I think if you look at when we got relegated at the end of last season, our squad has regressed even further since that relegation. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's true. They really have. But yes, the players, that is my section on the players. That is the first port of call. As what has gone wrong this season. These players just do not turn up. They turn up when they want, and it's not consistent enough. They haven't got the mentality. They don't really care about winning. They don't care about the club. There's no pride, passion, desire, full commitment to the cause. It's clear. We've seen it week in, week out. So, yeah, that's what I've got to say on the players. Mark says, very frail mentality has shown through, particularly since the end of that 16-match run. We had 20th in the 2025 table. Shocking, isn't it, Mark? 20th. That is relegation form. And, yeah, it's just been utter rubbish, hasn't it? And I agree, the mentality has been a big problem for ages now, hasn't it? And, the thing is, though, if you're keeping these players on, it's not going to improve until you get rid of them. And we need a group of winners, a group that are going to show pride, and give everything. These players don't give enough effort for me. They don't. They are way, way, way below what we expect in terms of effort levels. It's not acceptable. So, yes. But thank you for that, Mark. I agree with you. Aidan says the next manager we get has got to be an honest manager who doesn't make up stuff for these players and doesn't stick up for the players all the time. The thing is, though, there has to be a fine line, hasn't it? Because the reality is when you are the manager, look, I'm not saying, kind of say, look, these players not, but I think if you kind of throwing them under the bus every week, I don't really think that's helpful. I think managers do have to defend the players to a degree, but maybe a bit more honesty would be nice from the next manager, for sure. I know what you're saying. I do get what you're saying, but these players don't deserve to get, they don't deserve to be stuck up for, do they? Because they are a disgrace. And like I said, I've never been so disconnected from a group, from a squad than I have now. I've never felt so disconnected. And I know a lot of people have felt the same as well. Ian says, these players don't care about this football club. All they care about is picking up a wage. That's great, isn't it? So why should we travel to support you if you're not going to show us fight? Yeah. Well, there's just nothing, is there? There's nothing, no fight, no desire, no effort. It's just an embarrassment. It's just that, these players, I don't know how they look themselves in the mirror. I really don't. But yes, thank you for those comments, guys. We're going to move on to the next topic, which, of course, it's the footballing philosophy that I want to kind of bring up here now. Because, what kind of football do we actually play, guys? I could have answered that question quite clearly with, the likes of David Wagner, Corberan, or Warnock in charge. But lately, we're just an absolute mess. Duff talked about playing mixed football, but that is, more of an absence. That is more an absence of the style rather than anything new, unique about how we play. And, we've said it many times this season, haven't we? We're playing long balls up to strikers that are too small to do anything with it. We sometimes try to play out from the back, without having enough defenders capable of that way of playing. We just don't have the players to do that. We've still not replaced Aaron Moy since he left nearly 6 years ago in that midfield. So the midfield never has anyone capable of actually dictating the game. And we need midfielders that will take responsibility and look to dictate the game, control the game. Midfield is a crucial part in a team. You know what I mean? And yeah, we don't have that. We built a squad as well with no wingers and then struggled for creativity. Surprise, surprise. It's just absolute madness. Hogg, for me, continues to get picked despite being a form, despite not being the same. At his age, look, I'm not going to pick on Hogg because he's a legend, but look, he should be starting games for us. He needs to be coming off the bench and seeing out again. And I've said that was the role I thought he was going to play before the season began, but he's inevitably played a lot more games. He started a lot more games, especially the back end of this season, that I thought he would. But the reality is, he's playing because all the other options are worse. So what have we got to choose from? We haven't got anything to choose from, and this is the problem. The most consistent kind of trait that we've had over the last 4 or 5 years is that, there's been a regular inability, to connect simple passes, the basics over short distances. Just basics of football, guys. And giving strikers almost nothing to feed off. Absolutely nothing. Now, look, this kind of thing could be kind of pointed the finger at the various managers we've had in, but it goes deeper than that, doesn't it? Because the head coach, instead of manager thing, should improve continuity. And there should be a club style that starts in the academy and carries through to the first team. Then when a head coach gets sacked, it's less disruptive because you recruit someone with broader the same approach and recruit players for that kind of style. Instead, we've just had this current kind of mismatched approach where we go from one style to another, and it's simply not going to bring any success, is it, doing it this way? And for me, well, for everybody, we need a big squad overhaul. Every time we bring in a new head coach, you know what I mean? Every time we bring in a new head coach, it's just we need to bring one in that actually to suit their approach and kind of, you know what I mean. If you look at the names being linked with us at the moment as well, there's no kind of coherence to the names being branded around at the moment for me. It's not just a pragmatists or just footballing purists either, because nobody knows what kind of guy we want next because we veer from one approach to another with each appointment. We just don't, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, look, the philosophy, we need to sort that out because we need to be clear on what we're trying to do here because otherwise we're just not going to get anywhere. And that's my view. What philosophy? Yeah, well, I kind of allude to we haven't got one, but I kind of just think every kind we've kind of had a mismatched kind of approach in terms of that. We haven't got a clear philosophy. That's my point, and we need that. Evan Wiles can't play together. Look, for me, James, I'm just Evans has been an absolute shocker of a signing. Absolutely terrible. He hasn't added anything to this team. Nothing. And Wiles, we know what Wiles does. He hides too much. And yes, he's been getting automatic starts for far too long now. Again, because we haven't got anybody else. So I guess that's the only reason he stayed in the team, because we've got nobody else to come in. And yes, so look, I've not been impressed with Wiles. Yes, people going up to me about, oh, he scored goals. Yes, sure, he has scored goals here and there. But he scores he scores a goal and he goes missing for a couple of games, and then he maybe scores a goal and he goes missing. We need consistency, and there isn't that. So look, I don't even think these two players should be starting next season. We need a brand new midfield. I'm going to be brutal. We need a brand new midfield. There's no two ways about it. Mark says there has been a philosophy, which is the first thing a sporting director should instill. There has not been a philosophy, and I agree. The sporting director should. Then select a manager and then players to deliver it. Yeah, but because we haven't got any of that kind of strategy going on at the moment, you know what I mean? The sporting director, we know how how our sporting director has been so terrible. So we haven't had any of that. So it's just filtered down into that mismatch, random approach with picking managers and players. There's no direction, there's no plan, there's no strategy to it all, is there? Aiden says apparently we play attacking football now. We haven't for the past 2 seasons. We have played defensive football. Still yet to see our attacking football. Yeah, the waffle that some of these managers have come out with, and it's just like, no, you haven't. You don't like attacking football because we'd have seen it. And it's just there's just been no change in that regard. So yes, I agree. Far too defensive, far too negative. And look, you have to have a balance, don't you, sometimes? But when we're going backwards more than we're going forwards, that's when I start to have a problem with it. And like I said, just hit and hope. That's what we do. Hit and hope. That's what we've done all season. Hit and hope. To our 5'9" strikers, guys, that are not going to win anything, but keep doing it. Hope for the best. It's utterly ridiculous, isn't it? It's a defence football or hoofball up top and hope for the best. Yeah, exactly, mate. It's just crazy, isn't it? Michael says, Ryan, hope you're okay. Big up to you, Michael. How are you doing? Let me know your thoughts as we go along the show. Good to see you, mate. What's the latest names being mentioned for new manager, Ryan? Well, obviously, I have seen some of the names. I probably might come back to this question, Darren, because obviously we're going to do it would actually be a good kind of idea for a bit of content on the channel in terms of manager the manager shortlist that are currently linked to the club at the moment. And I think when the last 2 games are finished, I think we'll kind of have a more clearer kind of plan of who's kind of still in the mix to be manager, and maybe we can do kind of a bit of content on that, live show or a video to upload. But yeah, I will kind of come back to that, Darren. But thank you for that question. But we're going to kind of leave that for now. Now the next kind of topic, the next part of this of where it's all gone wrong: team spirit and character. Do you remember at the start of the season when there was talk of this leadership group being brought in, and a fresh start ahead of the new season? That doesn't get spoken about much anymore because the team spirit is on the floor. But and there seems to be a vacuum where the leadership of this group should be. The way we've let our heads drop, you know what I mean, at the slightest kind of slightest setback this season, has really suggested that weak mentality that Sora's got relegated from the Championship, and it's continued into this season, regardless of the talk that we've heard. I think Michael Duff was doing what he could to try and improve the individuals he had playing for him, but unfortunately, the lack of player turnover last summer meant we were saddled with too many players with negative and weak mindsets, and that's the problem. I think we can safely say, or as fans collectively, I think we're on the same page here. When I can say we're willing to forgive players that aren't the best in terms of ability if they put everything in when they're wearing that Huddersfield Town shirt. But the reality is these players don't. And if you remember, Brighton Wright said at the end of last season that he believed a significant number of the Town players didn't care about the club at all. Based on the games that we've seen at the latter stage of this season, look at Burton away, just to name a couple. I think the problem is clearly still there, isn't it? It's clearly still there. The mentality aspect of the game matters a great deal. It does at this level too. And, and if you look at the teams that are successful, they tend to have that collective spirit. You know what I mean? That propels them on through those tricky moments. Because you're going to have tricky moments through a season, of course you are. But it's how you react to those tricky moments. And I'm afraid these players, just the heads go down at the slightest setback. And that is the mentality of this group right now, guys. And yeah. And look, a lot of this kind of observation that we've kind of based this off is mostly on the gut feeling from what we've watched this season. But it's actually been backed up, hasn't it, by the lack of last-minute winners we've scored. And the times, we've crumbled when a minor setback occurs in a game. We just can't. This group can't handle it. So again, that is another thing that is massively wrong with this group. There's no team spirit. There's not enough characters, not enough leaders in this group. We've got nothing at all. So yes, that is my other kind of topic that I think has gone wrong this season. Let's have a look. Adam says, even all on holiday at the moment, so bollocks to town. Oh, you're on holiday, Adam. Where are you? You having a good time? Hope you're having a good time. Let me know where in the world you are, or if you've kind of gone on holiday in this country somewhere. But yes, hope you're all right. But yeah, look, I said it before. I just wish we could forfeit these last two games. I'm just tired. I've been tired for weeks, to be fair, with this team this season. I've been done with it for weeks, but now we're nearly in at the end of this season. I think I just wanted to forfeit the games now and there's no point, is there? Nothing to play for now. Going off topic here, mate, but well, it kind of isn't. It kind of isn't at the same time. But yeah, Nichol's goal kicks on Monday were absolutely woeful. Yeah, I mean, but it goes back to this kind of another problem, though. This kind of links into another problem that we've got at the moment, though, guys. Why is it that these players that the senior players that have been here for a while, why are they just able to just walk back in the team without having to earn their place? Another big problem that I've got right now, because we saw it. Chapman, came in when Nichols got injured. I thought he did well. Yes, they were a bit shaky towards the end before he got dropped. But from what we've seen from Nichols since he's come back in, I think Chapman is actually the better goalkeeper at the moment. He showed better stuff. He showed better qualities to me. And I was happy with him. He got the ball out quickly, at least, as well. There was a bit more urgency about him. Not all the time, but I think there's more urgency with him. So, yeah, it's not something that... But he kind of just ties. He's kind of reminded me about something that is another thing. But we need to have a group of players that have to fight for their players, not group players that just know they're going to be starting every week because the squad's so poor. And we just... But regardless, if a player comes in and takes an opportunity, when that player that's injured gets back, doesn't mean you should walk back into the team again without having to earn it. That needs to change. That's what I'm saying. Good on you, Adam. Hope you're having a good. Yeah, hope you're having a good holiday, Adam. Yeah, indeed. Rudderless with zero leadership, top to bottom. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's not just on the pitch that there's lacking leadership, is it? Really, it's the people above as well. They've got no leadership either. So yes, you're right. Alice is having a great time. Cheers in. Watched the Stockport game round the pool and didn't care at all. Had enough of this shower. Yeah, I mean, I don't believe. Look, I've checked out. I can't even be bothered to which game was on TV the other day? Was it? I actually did have it on. To be fair, I said I wasn't going to watch it, but I did. I think it was Stockport, wasn't it? I did have it on, but I soon just kind of just lost interest. But I just can't bother to watch, to be honest with you. But yes, nice to know you're having a good time. Beating 1-0 up through a Thomas penalty. Nice. Thank you very much, Mark, for updating us on that. Good to see the youngsters showing a bit of pride and passion on that field and going for wins. And of course, yes, hopefully we can keep that lead. And yeah, that'd be brilliant, wouldn't it, to see them win something. Cape Verde, loving heck. I am very jealous. And I appreciate your dedication, Adam, by the way, for tuning in when you are on holiday. So big up to you, mate. And yes, very exotic. I mean, I'm so jealous. But yes, next topic, next area that I want to look into here is the connection with the fans. Now, winning, of course, tends to have a great connection with their, winning teams, tend to have that great connection with their fans, don't they, regardless of any other factors. But while we aren't really succeeding on the pitch, everything else needs to be good to be able to maintain that really positive relationship. It currently couldn't be any further away from that if it tried. So much. I don't think there has been so much dislike to a group of players than what ever before than what we have now. And like I said, these players don't represent us. They're a disgrace, and they've let us down time and time again. But look, you know what I mean? But look, like I said, there's been a lot of criticism for the sporting director, rightly so. But like I said, I think if you look at the kind of PR side of things with the club as well at the moment, it's rubbish, isn't it? It's rubbish at the moment. The strategy seems to be to just put their fingers in their ears and hope it blows over soon, and that's not going to happen. Kevin Nagel coming out and doing these video diaries and all this, it just doesn't help, guys. We are run like an amateur club, and we are seeing that on the pitch as well at the moment. And Nagel has a lot of work to do for me to be convinced about him, because I'm not convinced at all. Look, he's put a lot of money into the club. He's entrusted the wrong people in the club to do run the day-to-day operations of it. He's not learned his lesson. Well, he has eventually, getting rid of the sporting director, but he's taken 12 months we're 12 months too late here. Everybody knew at the end of last season. In fact, any other club would have got rid of the board had they've had the season we had last season. But for some reason, we're different at Town. We do things our way. And of course, Nagel was being stubborn, and re-interviewed him. And we're not going to go back to that, guys. Look, he's gone now. But I'm just making a point. The leadership at the top is a shambles. And look, the connection with the fans has been a massive problem all season, guys, hasn't it? Because the reality is we haven't seen the players give it their all on not more than one occasion. And when you see players giving up, and when you see players just not doing the basics, and when you see players shushing the fans and throwing their arms up in the air, storming off the pitch after losing or dropping points, you know who I'm talking about there, then I'm sorry, we ain't going to have a connection with these kind of players that just don't give it up, don't show any pride, don't care about the club at all. No, it's not going to happen. So I think the connection with the fans has been a big part as well. We need to have a connect. We need that connection with the players, and the players need a connection with us. But these players don't care about the club, so they won't have a connection with us, because they're just here to pick up a wage, and they've proven that. The missus is getting ready, and she takes ages so far to tune in. Big up to you, Adam. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So you're going out tonight. Hopefully you're having a good time. But yes, I know what it's like with women, of course. my mum takes an age to get ready whenever we go out somewhere. So I know that feeling. And circus of a club under Nagel. Yes, we are a circus of a club under Nagel, and we have been for the past 2 years. And look, people can go about he's got good intentions and all this blah 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 rubbish. No, I'm sorry. You can have all the good intentions in the world, but the reality is when he came in, he didn't have any know-how of the English game. So it was important that he brought people in that did know the English game very well and that actually succeeded in the English game. But no, he went for his best mates, and look how he's panned out. So yes, very naive. Too much talk, very little action to back up his words. But yes, we're kind of going off on the topic now. But yeah, the connection with we just got no connection with the players, and the players don't have a connection with us. Didn't Chroma stimulate throwing a grenade into the fans as well? Conceded again a few minutes later. Basically he cupped his ears, didn't? Or he put his hands over his ears, didn't he, when he scored? Yeah, so things like that. It's just not very endearing, guys. We're not going to tolerate this. We're not going to tolerate players having a go at the fans who have turned up week in, week out, despite the dross that's been served on the pitch. And then to get this level of, what's the word I'm looking for? Just this level of disrespect. Complete disrespect. These players have got complete disrespect to the fans. And they've shown that. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of this group do show disrespect to the fans. Especially with their performance, not necessarily behaviour that they carry on with during games and after games, and they're storming down the tunnel. Yeah, we feel like storming down the tunnel. We feel like storming off. We feel like, we could all carry on like that. But we continue to turn up every week. So yeah, ridiculous. I tell you what, I want to see from these players is one of the players coming over to us and talking to us, if you know what I mean. Yeah, just that little bit of connection, guys, you know what I mean? And just something. But I just don't see it in any of this, the majority of this group, no. I just don't see anybody taking the lead, taking responsibility. And I can't see any of this group doing this kind of thing. Now, if we look at the injuries are the next topic of conversation, guys. Look, we don't have any insight, do we, into the internal goings on at the club. So, don't know if the injuries we've sustained this season have been a result of bad luck, managers ignoring advice or from the medical department, or the medical department not giving the right advice. Which one is it? Regardless of what it is, the number of injuries we've had this season has been crazy, and it's ridiculous. Apparently there was a change in this area a few months ago with some of the medical team let go, if you remember. But how did we get to a stage where so many players have had muscle injuries, the same type of injuries? Were we overplaying them, maybe? Undertraining them? Bringing them back from injury too soon? Signing players that are very injury prone? Maybe a mix of all these things, let's be honest. It's just utter madness. But it's also possible that, the character has a part to play in this area too, doesn't it? Because are some players happy to sit out games injured? And are others willing to keep minor knocks to themselves, to keep their place? And they develop into something worse. Look, it's hard for us to get to the bottom of from the outside looking in, but I just don't have a lot of faith that the club have a handle on what has gone on with the injuries. I don't. And lessons need to be learned. Lessons need to be learned on this in this area, as with the other areas that we've kind of covered. So yes, too many injuries, not good enough. It's ridiculous. Something has to give in that aspect. My next area that I want to look at is the off-the-pitch matters. While the football, the first team play is the most important thing, the management of all the other stuff does have an impact on the feeling around the club. I'm sure we'll all agree with that. The improvements to the stadium have been welcome, absolutely. You know what I mean? H-Town seems like, a good addition to the match day. But a lot of things off the pitch, a lot of the other things off the pitch are just not great at all, are they? You know, for all the talk about the stadium, look, we've been talking about this for ages. For all the talk about the stadium being bought under the club's ownership, it's still not being done, guys. You know, while I appreciate that, you know, that this is a complicated kind of thing, isn't it? You know, these kind of deals with, you know, stadium ownerships and stuff, it does take a while. I get that, I appreciate that, but there's been years and years of this, you know, promise about being able to get the stadium fully, and it's just never happened. You know, the club owning 100% of the stadium will be a positive step forward for me, but the reality is we've been promised this for so long and it still hasn't happened, like I said. We talk about the season cards, the pricing, the pricing situation this last few weeks has been really poor as well, and really terrible too. You know, regardless of whether you agree with the pricing or not, the fact that the club have had to announce several concessions and amendments to the original kind of offer suggests they knew it wasn't right to begin with, so they changed it. You know, just a year after the previous season card announcement was scrapped and the cheaper tickets carried on for a further season, let's not forget. Then there were the kind of gossipy things that we've been putting up with this season as well, with the likes of, you know, like the sporting director inviting that fan to the car park to continue an exchange of views. You know, those gestures at Town Fans and the Town Fans comedy event being cancelled as well. Remember, I mentioned this. Remember, you know, Graham, of course, comedian who had an event at H-Town. But that was cancelled because of a so-called discount code. Silly stuff, really, but the kind of thing that makes the club look so amateurish. It really does make the club look so amateurish from the outside. It is a joke. So again, the off-field matters are an absolute shambles, and it has to change if we're going to move forward. And this is why I said this summer there is so much to do, and so little faith or confidence for the people above to do the right thing. And yes, you know, it's just not a joke. See what people are saying. I love it when our stadium announcer says the wrong amount of attendance in the stadium. 16th, yeah, I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? They just lie to themselves, don't they? And the thing is, apparently everybody does it. Apparently every club does it, where they just announce, you know, whoever's season card, even if they're not there, they'll still count them in as the attendance figure. But, and that's another thing as well, isn't it? You know, sacking the stadium announcer because he said a few home truths, you know what I mean, was honest because he's a Town fan, and he might have said stuff that came out wrong, but he's still just an honest Town fan that wants the club to do well. He got sacked for speaking up. It's just completely and utterly ridiculous. These things need to change, guys. Honestly, that everything needs to change at this football club in so many different ways, as you can tell from what I'm going through right now. Darren says, wonder what Mr. Dean Hoyle makes of the last 2 seasons. Yeah, I mean, would be interesting to see what he makes of it all, wouldn't it? Yeah, I agree. But look, we talk about the B team, guys, but the reality is the B team is there for players to come into the first team, of course. And we've had a few B team players in the squad, matchday squad. You know, when we've had the injuries, you know what I mean, B team players have, you know, come into the matchday squad. But they haven't been played. So we are not producing B team players for the first team right now. That is another problem. You know, in the Championship, we saw the academy was producing players only capable of League One or League Two football. How is that okay? Now we're down at that level. The academy production line is grounded to another halt. You know, Tom Yorpender is the only player, I would say, close to getting into our first team at the moment. That's the reality of it, and that's my opinion. Michael Duff was often quite scathing of the defensive abilities, even when praising his attacking play. So yes, Yorpender is the only one that I feel, can break through into the first team anytime soon, and that is a big issue, guys. It is. This B team is there to produce for the third team, and when they do get chances in the matchday squad, the fact they're not being used suggests a lot, doesn't it? It suggests that they are not good enough. That is a big concern. Like I said, struggling to integrate those B team players into the first team isn't the reason Town's season seems, our season's turned into a failure. But it's just another area, isn't it, where the club isn't getting it right. And a good example would be the recent, the defensive crisis we had at the back, centre back, as we know. Like Aina, a central defender, was sat on the bench or not even making the squad when we had 4 fullbacks across the back line and not a single central defender in there. How little faith must we have in our youngsters to put a mishmash of defenders together that aren't even centre-backs in that central area and put fullbacks in there instead? It's madness. Had we have decent youngsters coming through, at least a couple of this season's injuries could have been chances for youngsters to come on and impress, rather than picking from the same stale, rubbish group of rubbish so-called professionals on the fringe of the squad. So that is a problem. The club, as we know, is in that process of switching back to a full academy system. So building up the younger age groups may have kind of diverted that attention and resources from the B team. Regardless, though, it is disappointing, isn't it? It's disappointing that we don't have more players on the cusp or breaking into the first team right now. And, the fact that Worthington as well has included so few youngsters during his spell as caretaker manager suggests that the quality isn't there in the youth ranks right now. As surely, like I said, the head of the academy would give them a go if they were good enough. So it is a worry for me, guys, and that's why I want to kind of put that out there. That needs to change as well, because it's just not good enough. Let's go through the comments. Ian said, I was thinking earlier when was the last time we actually had a good chief executive? Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. It's wasn't Webber was good, wasn't he? Webber was the chief executive, wasn't he? Stuart Webber. He was all right, I guess. But yes, we don't have many, do we? Cartwright wasn't good. Brombury wasn't good. Yeah, absolutely. Yo, how are you? Hello to you, Bing. Good. Thank you. How are you? Good to see you. Marcus, I hope we give some of the B team players a chance in the last 2 games. Got no to lose. But like I've just kind of said, Michael, they clearly aren't good enough. And I get what you're saying. The season's over now, so yeah. To be fair, get them in. But we've been saying that for weeks, and they haven't done that. The management team haven't done that. So it is clear to me that they just aren't good enough. And yeah, it is disappointing and worrying at the same time that we're not producing anything. Just the season's over now, so rebuild time. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Neo, he was okay. Yeah, Neo, to be fair, I haven't really seen enough of him in that first team to know. Yeah, I did think that he would be a player potentially. So he probably maybe alongside Yorpender, but I think Yorpender's closer than him to breaking into the first team or being this, you know what I mean? But obviously his injuries, Yorpender, have really upheld him this season, as we know. So yes, I think he will be playing tonight. I think I saw him on the team sheet for tonight's game, actually. So yeah, he's building up his minutes in the B team. But obviously the season's over soon, isn't it? So it's just like, yeah, obviously. But yeah, he's still going to be going into the summer in good shape, in a good way. Because if he's getting minutes in the B team, it's good for him to do that. Thinks I'm just apathetic with the club at the minute. The season is over and I feel nothing. Yeah, no, I agree. There's so much apathy in this fan base at the moment. It's just so sad to see. It is, and like you said, you just feel nothing. We're just numb to it. We're just numb to it now. We're absolutely numb, and it's just not acceptable. The way, how the mess that we're in right now, and the disconnect we have with the club, and that is down to the people above that have done this, and it needs to change But yes, just feel nothing, just numb to it at the moment, just completely numb to it all. So surely it can't be worthy who picks the team, because if he's a supporter, then he wouldn't have these players playing on the pitch. There's been a lot of talk about this, actually, to be fair, about who is actually picking this team, who's been picking the team over the last few weeks. And for me, I said it on. I actually posted on my social media the other day actually about this, and I said, I'm just not convinced that Worthington's been picking this team over the last few weeks. I'm going to be honest with you. It just doesn't feel like a Worthington team, if you get me. Like, it doesn't seem like we've kind of talked about the B team, not potentially not being good enough, and they clearly aren't ready to be in the first team. But still, I thought we would have seen a bit more of the B team play, still a little bit more than we have, regardless, even from the bench, whatever, But Worthington hasn't done that. So I'm just not convinced he's actually been picking the team and anything, really. It just feels like that to me. I don't know. It's strange. I won't be surprised if he isn't picking the team. This club is a shambles from top to bottom. Aiden, yeah, okay. But yeah, it's a bit. Look, I can see both sides. We've already alluded to the B team players. They're just not ready. They're just not ready. But then also you think to yourself, there has been opportunities from the bench, and like I said, when we had problems at the back, there was an opportunity where we had to kind of do something at the back in terms of centre backs. No centre backs being fit, and we decided to play full backs there. Now, if you throw players in that aren't ready, it can actually damage. It can destroy them, really, can't it? And you've got to be careful with young players. But you know what I mean? Because if they come in and they make a big mistake, something, it can really hurt these players. So there is a time and a place for that. And throwing them in the deep end when the pressure is how it is. At the time when we had no fits in, but the pressure was there still because we still had something to play for. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit in two minds about that. But so yeah, look, the big question and the thumbnails is that in terms of how do we actually fix these problems at this football club? That's the final topic of the evening. It's so much easier to point out these issues, isn't it, than it is to actually fix them. But for me, the obvious solution is to have a massive clear out and bring in new people with the qualities that the club is currently lacking. Get a new sporting director in that knows the EFL and has a good track record in the Football League. And when whoever it maybe does come in, though, he needs to hit the ground running straight away. Given the summer transfer window is fast approaching as well, and the new man will want to do things his way rather than continue the last guy's plans. I think, like I said, Mark Cartwright's replacement should be someone already doing that job at this level. For me, the Cartwright equivalent, the kind of equivalent at the top end of League One or bottom end of the Championship will already have kind of similar plans as we kind of plan for the summer, and would have the best chance of being ready to jump straight into the job without too much of a bedding in period as well, if you think about it. So, look, finding that standout candidate as well at that level who wants to leave might not be easy, but it's a vital appointment to get right. This is massive. We know it. We know how massive it is. It's crucial. We need to get this right. I do not want to see another American best mate of Nagel's coming through the door, because that shows to me that he has not learned his lesson, and he is just continuously just doing things his way, no matter the consequences. He needs to do the right thing, and he needs to get some experience in, because we need a sporting director who can start actually fixing up what Cartwright is absolutely broken. So yes, the player recruitment as well, guys, is the other thing, a big thing on our minds right now, isn't it? That could have a huge impact on nearly all the issues that we've mentioned above. You know what I mean? Nagel speaks in his video diary of needing big, strong, athletic types in the transfer window. I'm not really convinced that that will fix it, if I'm being brutally honest, guys. I think because we've already spoken about it, it's often more of a mental weakness rather than physical that costs us in games at the moment. Regardless, though, the gaping holes in our squad suggest we need to either do that fantastic business, find those gems, or pay big money to bring this squad up to scratch. There's no two ways about it. I think the player exits as well will be another critical area to manage as well. Getting rid of all the players with expiring contracts is a must. Even Hogg's traditional one-year contract extension has to be in doubt, guys, given the need for fresh leaders to emerge. And then, of course, there's the job of appointing a new manager. Picking one that will play the club-approved style would be a sensible option, of course. Once we've actually worked that out, though, first and foremost, what we're actually wanting to do here in terms of style that we're looking to do. I'd also like us to stick with the next guy for a reasonable period of time as well after that, because we have got this reputation now, guys, of sacking and firing managers. Far too many managers have come through this door, and it just shows the failures of the club hierarchy when you're having so many managers in such a short space of time. It is utterly madness. You do not get success doing this. You just end up getting failure. So yes, another thing that needs to be addressed. But yeah, once we appoint this manager, head coach, once we've got the sporting director in, we need to keep him. We need to keep faith in him. I want to see from that appointment, though, that there is a clear way of style of play that we're looking to go forward with and stick to. And there's actually a candidate that we can get behind and connect with as well. Because I think it's important to connect with a manager, but also, like I said, somebody that is experienced and can, maybe a manager that has a promotion on the CV as well, a head coach, however you want to say it. Head coach that has got promotions on the CV would be great, because he will bring that winning mentality with him and success that he's had in the past. And then finally, if we can have that clear out and bring in new people that are a genuine improvement, then there's hope. There is hope for the future, it is, but there's all so many questions. It's all up in the air right now, isn't it? And which, like I said, we need some hope, because at the moment this club feels to be absolutely broken, drifting, coasting, whatever you want to say, and it's just a sad sight, isn't it? Well, it's just heartbreaking, really. The mess that we are in every aspect of the club. It's just a complete mess in the crucial things that help success. You know what I mean? Bring that winning mentality. It's so bad, but look, we have actually finished. So I've got through a lot tonight, guys, obviously, but this has been a fantastic stream, and I've really enjoyed coming on here and kind of getting you guys thoughts as well. And obviously, I had a lot to go through, so apologies, but there were so much different areas that I wanted to go into in this live show, just to kind of paint that picture and go in a bit more detail about different things, really, because the season's done now, so I just think it was the perfect time to do so. The towns to you, Ryan. Have a good day. Big up to you, Bing. Thank you very much. But look, yes, guys, that is the end of the show. I hope you have enjoyed it. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe, share the channel around. Let's try and push towards 900 subscribers very soon. That would mean a lot to me. There will be a video out tomorrow. I'm going to do a video tomorrow on the sporting director. I've been doing a little bit of research about potential sporting directors that could potentially come in. So I'm going to do a video on that tomorrow, guys. So watch out and keep the notification bell on. You can click the notification bell down below. Just give you it gives you a prompt when anything's uploaded or anything. So yeah, if you want to do that, I'll post it on my stories anyway on social media. If you're on social media, you can follow me down below. Lovely deck. HTFTV8 on Insta and X. So yeah, do give me a follow on those. And yeah, so there'll be another video tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. I'm sure you'll all find it interesting. Like I said, I've done a bit of research for the last few days about potential sporting directors. There is a few options out there that we could go with, but I'm going to kind of just take you through each option and maybe reveal who I would like to see coming as well. And obviously, guys, get involved in the comments when the video does come out and like the video and yeah, just share it around. But yes, thank you very much. Final comments before we go. Nicely done, Ryan. See you on the next one. Big up to you, Darren. Thank you very much. Take care, son. Thanks for your support. And Michael says, good, great stream, Ryan. Big up to you, Michael. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. But guys, have a good rest of the evening, whatever you get to. I hope you have enjoyed the show and I hope you found it interesting. Lots of work to be done at our football club, and we need to start before the season's out. We need to hit the ground running. There's no messing around. So much to do over the summer, and if we don't get it right this time, then it really does feel like it's game over for this football club. Anyway, guys, take care, stay safe. Thank you for your support, and I will see you all on the next one. Take care, everybody, and as always, as bad as we are, up the town.